Heinz Field's days are numbered. The physical structure will remain unchanged, at least for now, but the name is expected to be altered. According to a report from Andrew Filipponi of 93.7 The Fan, the Michigan-based insurance giant Acrisure will take over the naming rights to the stadium after Heinz elected not to renew its 20-year naming rights deal that expires this summer. It's not a particularly surprising development. Money talks, and Acrisure is assured to pay more money than Heinz could really afford to, or maybe wants to, especially considering that Heinz in 2002, when the stadium was first built, bought the naming rights for $57 million and owned them for 2 decades. When you look at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, one of the newer NFL stadiums out there, SoFi's paying $400 million for the same privilege that Heinz paid for in 2002. They'll get naming rights to that stadium for 20 years, but at a much steeper cost. And agreement in that same ballpark for a similar amount of money is expected for Heinz Field, for the venue formerly known as Heinz Field. But I think this is what struck a nerve with so many people who enjoyed, or were at least indifferent to the Heinz Field name. Not only does Acrisure Stadium or Acrisure Field not exactly roll off the tongue, but the name change is an unwelcome reminder of something that we get hit over the head with almost every day, and that's that money is one of the most important things in our world. It drives so much, and when you have a lot of it, you can kind of make the world how you want it to a certain extent. It's also the predictability of sacrificing something like Heinz Field, which, while a corporate name, has at least a little bit of a connection to the city of Pittsburgh and its history. You're taking that and you're turning this stadium into a sterile corporate marketing opportunity. And that sucks. You see it happen all the time. We get hit over the head with ads at just about every second of every day. They're inescapable. And while Heinz Field was an ad too for Heinz Ketchup, it also, bore the name Heinz, which has deep connections to the city of Pittsburgh going back to the 19th century. And we're sacrificing that for a bunch of money that, is not going to really affect our enjoyment of the game or our enjoyment of Heinz Field, of the stadium itself. I don't mean to sound dramatic because these aren't particularly high stakes, but it does suck. And it is, again, an unwelcome reminder of how small the desires of an individual fan or even a fan base is in the face of a lot of money, someone with a lot of money, or an organization with a lot of money. A massive corporation based far from the institution that it will sponsor is going to use its incredible wealth to take something that had a neat local flair to it and turn it into something, again, that's corporate and sterile. And that sucks. No one enjoys that. I'm not going to make a mountain out of a molehill, but the name is bad, and the reason why it's changing is bad. I mean, from my perspective, it's bad. It's not useful to me. I would have rather had it been named Heinz, but instead I have to refer to it as Acrisure Stadium or Acrisure Field, and I have to remove that kind of whatever loose connection that the stadium had to the city. With every TV broadcast that welcomes you into Acrisure Stadium, you lose a little bit of connection that building has to the city. And you lose a little bit of the emotional connection that you, as a Pittsburgh resident, might have to it. That's worth mourning, even if only a little bit.